Hello again. It is I, Professor Carbon, here to do another installment of the virtual learning situation that is going to be our new normal for at least a little bit. Um, Also, thank you to all of you who have written to me and sent me good wishes. I appreciate it. It's very it's very nice to be thought of. So thank you. Today we're going to talk about segment one and kind of debrief a little bit, and we're also going to have a little bit of an introduction to segment two and the necessary components that it comprises. So, first things first. In terms of debriefing about segment one, it's obviously a little difficult to debrief in a vacuum. And I know that we are not meeting face to face. So I thought perhaps we could debrief in a written way and have you spend a minute or two just reflecting on your experience with the segment one project. So I'm asking you to just write me a brief memo. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be more than a page. But I want you to think about and discuss the way you think segment one is going to benefit your overall scholarship in the class. So what I'm really kind of pointing you toward is thoughts about how, first of all, what the point was, right? Why do you think I asked you to do these things? What service will it play in strengthening your knowledge of writing and rhetoric? And then following that up, I want you to think about the way in which the components that came together to form your experience with the project can be useful to you on a longer term basis, right? So how might those skills translate toward the end of the semester when we're writing our research paper? How might they translate outside of this class when you're in a sociology class or when you're interning for, a big fancy job, right? What ways can you forecast and toward the future that might reflect the lessons that this segment project was attempting to teach you? Okay, so that's part A to this memo. And then part B is to go ahead and take a look at the questions outlined here and respond to one or two of them in addition to the main question. And when you respond, it makes a difference to really kind of dig a little deeper. I'm not asking you to do that to impress me by any means, but I think for you, it'll help you to think critically about these questions and make some really important connections for yourself as a student in this class and as a learner of this information. So that response is going to then be uploaded onto Canvas, and you'll see on the home page now there is, above your segment one assignments, a space called responses to work from home prompts. So you're going to upload the memo to me under Thursday 3/7 memo, and then you're done. You can either type it directly into the box or you can upload a file, whatever you like. Okay, moving on to segment two and what that's all about. So really, segment two is a natural companion to segment 1. It is an outgrowth of those concepts. The difference here is that we're now looking at the text and saying, okay, so we know how to evaluate the text on a surface level. We know how to riddle out what the text is saying. Okay. But now we want to figure out why it's saying what it's saying, how it's saying what it's saying, to whom is it speaking, and why that matters. And we're really attempting to understand the perspectives that the text encompasses. So in order to do this, we are going to apply all of those rhetorical terms and processes to really analyze texts, not just to talk about them in an abstract way, but to really kind of rip them open and see what makes them work. And the key here, the key outcome, is really to judge the effectiveness of a text. So when we think about the effectiveness of a text, we're really thinking about not only how the text is making its argument and to whom it's making its argument and what it's using to make its argument, but really we're thinking to ourselves, these are all the choices that the author of this text has made. Were they the right choices? Were they the effective choices? And how? So, if, for example, my job is an advertising executive and I need to market this strawberry ice cream to kids between the ages of 7 and 12, I might use awesome rhetoric. I might appeal to pathos, and I might use awesome visuals and really kind of beautiful, punchy fabric and colors, and advertise during peak hours that those same kids watch TV. But if my advertisement has the wrong tone, if my advertisement talks down to these kids, if my advertisement doesn't appeal to them and uses the wrong rhetoric, well, then I haven't been effective, even though I might have been correct. So that's something that we need to think about now as we start evaluating texts through this new lens. So the culminating project, if you haven't already kind of guessed, for segment 2 is going to be a rhetorical analysis paper. It says here it's going to be about 5 to 6 pages. That's negotiable considering where we are as a class right now. So let's put a pin in that and say that length is TBA, but it's probably going to be around that area. So a little bit of background. When we think about segment 2 and the way we're going to be using all of our rhetorical knowledge and skills, we're really going to be focusing specifically on the way in which these can all culminate and come together as tools of analysis, as opposed to simply evaluation, right? Like we said before. So here we're asking how and why, and we're not going to just be content that the text happened, but now we're going to be content. Now we're going to be more contented, figuring out how it is, why it is, and if it's effective in being in the form that it is. Okay, so, and we're going to continue to do practice just like we did in segment 1. We're going to practice our summaries, or we're going to practice our rhetorical analysis like we practiced doing those summaries. So there'll be no shortage of opportunities to kind of hone these skills. So in terms of the rhetorical knowledge that this segment is going to bring to the surface, are the following, and these come from the overall guidelines set forth for the Blue Gold Seminar. And in various ways and in various measures, we're going to accomplish each of these aspects of rhetorical knowledge, each of these kind of goals. So we're going to work on understanding and utilizing the concept of the rhetorical situation, which we are doing already. And not only recognizing that in the writing of others, but utilizing it in our own writing. We're going to understand and apply various rhetorical terms such as contingency, rhetoric, constraint, exigence, kairos, identification, ethos, pathos, logos, organization, and design in your writing. So we're halfway there with those terms, and truthfully, the ones that we haven't explicitly covered already are likely going to be pretty easy to riddle out in terms of how we're going to apply them. That being said, we are still going to work on this list, and that will be it'll be done in a less explicit way and in a more organic way, in that it'll hopefully become obvious to you that these concepts are necessary to engage with in order to perform a successful rhetorical analysis. And then finally we get to the project itself. So again, approximately 5 to 6 pages of a rhetorical analysis where you're asked to identify all the relevant aspects of the rhetorical situation as it pertains to your text. So this, like any other academic essay that you've written in the past, is going to start with a thesis and then morph into doing a couple of the following things. So it's not really an either or thing. So your rhetorical analysis can also do each of these 3 bulleted concepts, but it doesn't necessarily have to do all of them, but it at least needs to do 1 or 2 of them. So you can absolutely summarize what's happening within the text you're analyzing as a precursor to evaluating the text's rhetorical choices. You can make an evaluative claim about the effectiveness of these choices that the author has used. Or you can make a claim about the significance of a particular rhetorical feature or device that the text engages. In any of this, the important thing is that we are engaging with the text on a level that allows us to identify and isolate concepts and then really discuss what they're doing and how effectively they're doing it in terms of the way in which they're reaching their particular audiences. And that's it. It's not too difficult. So the last thing I want to ask of you for today is to go back onto Canvas and click on Understanding Segment 2. You'll notice that it has a different icon. It has a little speech bubble icon, and that is because this is a discussion post where we're going to use our throwback 90s skills to enter into a discussion board and use the space to use the space to discuss and respond to the expectations of segment 2 that we just talked about. So when you log on to Canvas and you see the area for the discussion, remember that you're going to need to post a question first before you can respond to your classmates. So you're going to post your question, and it's going to be a thoughtful question, not just something dumb like, why are ants gross, right? Like, I don't know. Why would you ask that? Why did that come into my brain? I don't know, but it's a dumb question, and it's not relevant here. Ask a question about segment 2. And then you're going to go back, refresh your browser, and respond to at least 2 questions that you see in the string of questions posted. It might happen that you get to the discussion board early and only a couple people have responded. Please try to kind of space out your response, or at least be mindful that other people might be doing that, and try to make sure that we don't have 20 responses to one person's thread. Also, just be cool. Wait, this isn't life or death, so it bears just kind of like taking a beat and waiting for more people to post. So, with all this being said, I really appreciate you being so flexible, and I will have more information and further directions to convey to you shortly, hopefully by the end of the week. And in the meantime, I'm always available via email message. And I really look forward to hearing from you. I appreciate you also taking time to complete that survey. It really is helpful for me to figure out how to proceed going forward in a way that makes sense and that really reaches and resonates with all of you. So, thank you very much, and keep in touch. Let me know if there's anything I can do. All right, bye-bye.